All right, got my brother Eliot Marshall in the house.
Let's go.
UFC veteran, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt champion. Black Belch. I'm all Easton. My big brother that took me down to Brazil all those years ago.
Made it happen for us all, Alberto.
And I met you as a white belt.
As a white belt.
And you were cleaning the mats.
Mm-hmm.
You were cleaning the mats to exchange the tuition for you know, right? You clean the mats for exchange, right?
I was broke. So, I had no money.
In college, yeah. And now you're the business partner with at Easton Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And you guys have 7 gyms, big, amazing gyms, yeah, and really, doing great work in Colorado.
Yeah, so, you know, it's possible, right? Some big, some small, and you can go from the cleaner to the owner.
Yeah.
You know, you can go from the cleaner to the owner, and you can get so lucky that you get to work so hard. That's how I like to say it.
So I remember like I would visit from New Mexico. Yeah, nice. I remember watching you clean, right? And then he started.
The first day, bro. The first day I ever met you. Man, I was in college, right? I was a little dumb. I got too drunk. I was like 19 years old, and I got too drunk to clean in the morning. I woke up, I was like, fuck, right? And I was like, I missed my cleaning. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm nervous. And then I was supposed to show up at the tournament, you know? So I show up at the tournament, and I should have met you, right? Because you were there teaching the morning class, and I didn't show up to clean, so therefore I didn't meet you. And then I go to introduce myself, and Amal like looks at me, and I'm like, "Oh man, he knows I missed my cleaning shift. He had no clue." But like I shouldn't have been introducing myself to you, because I should have met you 4 hours ago when I was cleaning. But that was the first time we met. It was a very nerve-wracking experience for me.
Man, I have an old picture of us at a tournament. It was in Colorado at one of the, because we had to compete at grappling tournaments, or not grappling tournaments, sorry, karate tournaments that had a grappling division.
One mat for us.
Yeah, so they would that place was huge. It had like 20 mats, right? Yeah. And then there was one mat with where the grapplers would come together, and you'd win like TVs at the time, those big
screen
clunky,
TVs,
right? You were like, oh, I made it, you know.
That's how you knew you made it in Colorado. If you got one of those, TVs, man.
So I have a picture of us all together, actually,
around the TV.
Around the TV, yeah. RCA.
Like, so people have to, like, I don't know, people listening, like this flat screen thing. Before the flat screen thing, there were these they were huge screens, but these things, you had to bring a truck, right? Like, we always had to bring a truck to these things, because we were like, yo, bring the truck, because one of us is winning that goddamn TV, right? So and then it took 10 of us to carry this thing out. It was craziness.
Oh my God, man. Let's go back. So you started cleaning the mats, and then you became, you're Maul's partner now. One of his black belts, one of his partners, or his partner. And where did that work ethic, where did that come from, man? Why you? Out of all the people, out of the thousands of people training there, why Eliot Marshall? What's the difference?
So we asked first where the work ethic came from. And I would say the work ethic came from growing up with Holocaust surviving Jews and a dad who, for his growing up, had to, like, if his family wanted to take a bath, then they heat, which wasn't every day. You know, sometimes it was just like a rag and wash. But if they wanted a bath, they had to heat the water on the stove and put it in the tub. So what seemed like, what was great adversity for other people turned into great opportunity for me. Because I didn't have to go through any of that. Like, there was no...
Where were your parents from?
So New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
My grandparents are originally from Poland.
Okay.
You know? So...
your mom's side?
My mom's side, yep. They're the Jews. So I didn't have to experience... Like, my life was never on the line in the Holocaust, or, like, with my dad, like, having to survive like that. But I was the next generation. So for me, it was, so in the Holocaust, I guess the second generation. But it was so close. Like, you couldn't not experience it with them a little bit without having to really, like I said, I didn't have to, there was no concentration camp for me. but I have a very good idea of what that was like and what that kind of suffering was like and what I had and how I could do my very, very best to avoid that. So that work ethic was instilled really, really
say like
early
in the epigenetics, or like stays in your, how many generations.
Like I feel like I have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I feel, and everything that I do in my life.
So those memories they're ingrained in your DNA.
Like every decision that I try to make in my life, it does go back. I think about, am I doing good for my grandparents? You know, like I'm not a religious person at all. I'm not Jewish, like as far as religion, but I mean, I fasted this year on Yom Kippur. I'm going to light the candles for Hanukkah just for them. Because I owe it to them. So I really, so I guess that's where my work ethic comes from, is being around that and really greatly understanding that. And then why me? I don't know, man. I just hung around them all the longest. You know, like I just hung around him the longest. What do you want me to say?
He's got so many black. He's got an army of black belts.
There's 92 of us. There's 92 black belts.
You okay? Why you?
Why me? I get it. I'm 1 out of 90. I hung around the longest. And now look, for some of the other guys like Mike and Ian and Valor, they've hung around the second longest. So now they have ownership pieces, like small little owner. You know, so like you just. Rule number 6, man, you ride or you motherfucking die. You know, you ride or you die. And when you ride, then man, when you're still there,
things come from being loyal, huh?
Yeah, when
things come from being loyal.
When you're still there at the end,
there's a power there.
Yeah, like there's a power in like, and it comes so well through jiu-jitsu, right? It comes so well like in martial arts, and is like, man, when you're there at the end, when you're there still today, when it sucked, like, come on, man, don't think I'm all and I don't fight. Of course we fight and we argue, right? But for me, only 2 people are allowed to talk about. I would let you too, you know, like there's only certain people that I allow to speak badly about him, you know, because fuck you.
Yeah.
Like no way. Like I can do whatever I want. Yeah. I can trash him till the day, till the whatever, till the end of death. But God forbid you say one little thing, somebody says one, because you didn't ride or die with him. You weren't, and he's been there with me since I was 18 years old, in like some of the very outside of like the birth of my children. He was there for like the biggest moments of my life, all of them. And still, even like this year, I got into ADCC. There he was. Yeah. You know, like the biggest moments, all my UFC fights, all my big jiu-jitsu tournament wins. Yeah. I met my wife because
same here.
Yeah, you know,
trip.
So
I'm all Easton.
So ride or die, man.
Yeah. He was the best man at my wedding, Armenian wedding, right?
Right.
So he was holding a cross. He was an atheist Jew holding a cross over our heads. I didn't tell any of the Armenians that were in the church. But it didn't matter, you know, because there was only him that I could think of to do that. But he did it. I'm mauling.
Oh shit, that's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know why me. You got to ask him that question. Like that's not a question for me, I guess.
How did you end up in Colorado?
I ended up in Colorado because I hated New Jersey. The
weather's better in Colorado.
No, I would say the black Jew thing that wasn't working out for me. With weird, obviously so think about it. When my parents met, it was the 70s. So there wasn't a lot of black dudes dating white Jewish women.
It's interesting, huh?
Yeah, right. So we weren't very, and then my parents were just weird on top of that, you know. So like into weird shit.
What city in Jersey?
South Jersey. Nobody knows it.
Okay.
You know, I could tell you Franklinville. I
went to high school in Staten Island, right? So I'm familiar with
it's up
that area,
right?
Yeah.
So, but I'd like to say halfway in between Philadelphia and Atlantic City. Okay. So if you picture that,
gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
So my parents were hippies and weird, and there weren't a lot of weird hippies in South Jersey at the time. And
I knew it. That's why. Man.
Yeah.
That's why you found them all.
That's how it was. Yeah, exactly. They weren't hippies like that though. So I never really fit in. I wanted to leave, and I wanted to get as far away as I could possibly get where I could ski. But then I had to also convince my mom that it was a decent college. So University of Colorado it was.
Boulder,
Colorado, man. And then, I can remember, and I didn't fit in. I was terribly unpopular. Lunch normally is a fun time for kids, like especially in high school, because like you get a break and you get to go like hang out with your friends and do whatever you want. I sat by myself, like every year. So I was just alone. Like there was nobody there for me. Like I had no friends. I had 2 friends, and they didn't go to my school. So that was it. And but again, what seemed like a terrible thing turned into this amazing thing later. Because I can remember when I got on the plane to leave, my parents were already out in Colorado. They were taking a little trip, and they let me hang out with my 2 friends, for the last week of the house. And I can remember getting on the plane, and I was like, shit, man. I'm crying, because I just left I left my best friend. It's like, I don't have any friends, right? Like, I'm like, what the fuck? But I was like, man, nobody knows me. I get to go start all over. Like, I get to make as many friends as I possibly can make now. And then I just did it. I just did it. I talked to everyone. Like, my wife, she won't go to the grocery store with me. Because, like, all my friends work at the grocery store. Like, they're not my homies. They're not like, but like, I talk to everyone. Like there's Pablo and Kelly in the meat department. There's Eric in produce. There's Diane and Steve who are the checkers. There's Ray in sliced meats, and like I just talk to them.
Yeah,
it's just what I do, and I do that everywhere I go, because I think now where I've come to now is with this is we need each other. We greatly need each other.
The human connection.
And we are so more similar than we are different, that let's just find out how similar we are rather than listen to people tell us how different we are so that they can make money.
So you flipped it and then changed your mindset completely.
Yeah.
On the plane ride over to Colorado?
On the plane.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember crying. I was sitting in a window seat. I was crying. The person asked me if I was okay sitting next to me. I was like, yeah, I'm okay. And I could just remember that moment. There's moments that are super clear in your brain. That one's super clear.
What made you want to go into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
So I'd already started karate.
Okay.
So I guess
growing up,
the only connection that I had with people was karate. So I did have that, and I could go.
When did you start?
6 years old.
Okay.
So I started at 6. So and you could go there, right? I could go there and have some sense of community, outside my family, because I think you need that as a human, right?
Sure,
like you need. So, and then the guys that I was doing karate with, they started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I didn't know it at the time. And one of them, he was older than me. He's like 31 years old. And he was the national tournament for our style of karate happened, and he was my friend, but it was only point sparring, so you fought each other all the time. It was no big deal, right? And he did the masters division instead of the adult division, and I was like, I want to change the lingo a little bit here. We used to say pussy, right? But those things pop babies out, right? And if you go like this to our testicles, we cry. So
I heard like Betty White say like they can take a beating.
They can take a pounding.
Pounding,
right?
They
can take a pounding. Right? They can take a pounding.
So they're not
and
weak.
Like women have popped out 3
yeah.
babies within 3 minutes. And let me flick your testicles 3 times and watch what happens to you. Right? You'll be on the ground fucking crying.
So it's not the right term.
Yeah, it's not the right term. It should be the testification, So anyway, like I was like, man, you testicle. You dodged me. And he was like, yeah, I dodged you. And he's like, yeah. He's like, why don't you just come over to my house on Friday night? And I was like, all right, I'll come over to your house, old man. So I come over his house. I had no clue he was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He just got his blue belt. He fucked me up for 2 hours. I was like, oh my God. what is this? What is this?
Okay.
You know, so that's how I got into jiu-jitsu.
How old were you at that time?
I was 17.
17, okay. Right before you
Right
moved.
before I moved, right? But then, like, the closest school was Maxercise. You remember Steve Maxwell?
Yeah, for sure.
So that was Philly.
Okay.
And I lived in South Jersey. It's not like it was today. Like, there's no Uber, right? There's none of that. Like, so for me to get, and my parents worked, so I wasn't getting the 45-minute to hour drive to Philadelphia on a school night. Like, that was impossible. So that turned into just like learning random moves while I was in high school, the last year of high school. And then I moved to Colorado. I started training with him all when he was teaching out of a karate school, but then I ran out. Yeah. Okay. And then I ran out of money, like, quickly. And then just being a dumb 18.
What was his name? The karate school?
It was called Boulder Karate.
Boulder Karate.
Yeah. I don't remember the guy's name. Amal probably does. And then I mean, I got my first series.
That was pretty short though. Yeah. Short.
No, it was like a year. It was like a year.
Okay.
So and then but then like right when I ran out of money, I got my first girlfriend. And I was getting laid consistently for the first time in my life. So like, you know, is this allowed?
Anything's allowed.
All right, cool. You know, so like, you know how that goes for young males, right? And then, but then I needed more. You know, I wanted, but I didn't. So I didn't really do martial arts for that whole year. And then I was like, I gotta get back into this. You know, like, this is kind of just who I am. I'm a martial artist. So I went, and then, you know, I walked in, became the cleaner. Yeah, so that's why I moved to Colorado.
Was it CompU USA, the place, the computer store?
Yeah, it's a Best Buy now.
Best Buy. Okay,
yeah, now it's a Best Buy, but it was CompUSA. It was CompUSA.
I went there with the mall when he first opened it up. He's like, "Oh man, like, I'm right next to this CompUSA store."
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
They don't even exist anymore.
And the grocery store is at Kroger.
King Supers. King Supers, right? And then there was a Karate America, like a karate school,
right,
that we always talked about dojo storming. But they were nice, you know, so we couldn't dojo storm them.
It's Jay Jack. Jay Jack was in the mix.
Back in the day with Jay, bro. Back in the day, that was, I mean, you talk about someone that was crazy. Jay was insane. And he still is.
Yeah.
Right? He still is. Like, he let this football player break his nose once. Let the guy.
At the gym?
At the school.
Okay.
He's talking about getting punched, you know? And I mean, this dude's like as big as I am now, but like a little more like a football player. And he was like, you know, and this football player was like, man, if I punch you in the nose, you're going down. And Jay was like, nope. You know, he's like, you have to punch me where it's going to incapacitate me. So you have to catch my chin or my temple or like anywhere in like the back of my head, because that's going to incapacitate me. The nose, you are going to break my nose. My eyes were water, you know, and then, but I'll still be able to fight. You know, the football player was like, no way, dude, it's over. Jay's like, all right, come on. And the guy's like, huh? The guy's like, yeah, come on. You know? So the football player goes up there, punches Jay like, you know, 50%. And now I'm going to say it. Jay's like, don't be a fucking pussy. Punch me. Right? And this dude hauled off. Jay's nose explodes. Blood everywhere. Tears dripping down his face. And now he looks at him and goes, now I'd fuck you up, man. Eliot, teach the class. And then he got a ride to the hospital. Got his nose reset.
Man, my mind's such a PG. I mean, I know Jay Jack, right?
Yeah.
You know, he does those kinds of things. But for me, I would have let the guy punch me in my guard, or try to, you know.
Right.
And I wouldn't, you know.
Sure.
And they would try to punch me, and I would show him how I could dodge and I could move and control him and reverse position, right?
Yeah, that's the normal way. That's the normal way. So Jay put his hands down, right? Like Jay was like, no defense.
Yeah.
His point, so Jay makes the extreme points. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he's got another.
You can go on those stories.
We got one more.
Okay.
Because this one I think is the best Jay Jack story. This is the best Jay
Who
story.
Who runs a gym now in Maine?
Yeah.
Portland, Maine.
So this story happened in Maine. So the way Jay does his life is he only surrounds himself, like the way I got the job where I met my wife was at a bar. Jay got me that job because he was a bouncer and he doesn't feel safe with not his friends. Right? So he got all of us jobs, or he got me a job, I got somebody else a job, and then it became like Easton's right? Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Boulder's
security company.
Right, exactly. So he did the same thing in Maine when he moved there. So they're bouncing, him and his students are bouncing at a bar, and he sees one of his students walk back through, and like it's the end of the night. And the guy's like, he's like, hey, he sees his students messed up, sad. He's like, hey, what's the matter, man? And the guy's like, oh, man, you see that guy walking away over there down the alley? He's like, Jay's like, yeah, why? What's up? He goes, man, that guy pulled a knife on me and asked me if I wanted to die. And I said, no, I don't want to die. And I put my hands up. He's like, so I kind of feel like a little bit of a bitch. And like the three of us sitting in this room right now, we're like, good call, right? Like, good call. Like, if he's just gonna walk off, you didn't say anything right? Else, huh? If the guy, if literally he just pulls, yeah, you know, if the guy just is gonna pull the knife and then walk off, like, let him do it, right? Yeah. Not Jay. Jay chases this motherfucker down. Hey, and his students with him, you know, hey. Guy turns around. He goes, did you pull a knife on my student and ask him if you wanted to die? And the guy pulls a knife and goes, God damn right I did. And now it's your turn to die. You want to die? And Jay goes, gladly, right now. What am I going to do? Get old? Die? Cancer? Pile up in my asshole or something? I'm going to die with some goddamn honor. You know? And then they go, right? They go. And then Jay takes the knife from him, holds it to his neck, right? And goes, hey, now you thank God every morning when you wake up? Now you're going to thank me.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
really,
man.
Really,
yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah, this is Jay, bro.
Really?
This is Jay. Yeah. Calls the cops, you know? Done.
Nah, really?
Yeah. Uh-huh. This is Jay. This is just how he rolls.
Oh, man.
He's not going to, he'll admit it to you. He's not making it to 60.
Oh, man. I mean, he was the perfect guy for Amal to have as his,
it was,
his first round, you know?
It was you couldn't have written the script any better.
Oh, man.
Right? You couldn't have written the script of.
You guys have like 100 black belts, like homegrown black belts.
Homegrown, yeah.
UFC guys, I mean, you know, legit. As legit as it gets, right?
You can't. I like to say that we are the first model of how to do the business part right and produce killers. You know, and produce real killers that are competing at the very top of the level. Like we have, I know he just lost, but we have Overeem with us. We didn't create Overeem, but he's with us now, right? We have Curtis Blades, who we've taken since his first UFC fight. And then we have like guys like Corey Sandhagen, who we have taken since 16 years old, like a basketball player and a breakdancer. And now he's the number 3 guy in the world. You know, we have John Combs, we have these kids coming up.
Won the ADCC trials,
right? Like,
had 7 matches.
And so, yeah. And we have 7 schools, right? We have 7
Creating
schools.
careers for people.
We have, so we have 30 people with full-time jobs. We have a CEO, we have a CFO, vice presidents. And so like a way to really go through martial arts. And look, let's be clear. It's not me and Amal anymore. Like Kamal and I probably just get in the way mostly, you know, but, yeah, we have been able to create this, I don't even know what you call it. This like yin and yang, you know, this old school and new school.
One of the things I love about, you know, the East Online, right, course.
Right, it's coming, yeah.
Is the holistic approach, right?
Super important.
Holistic approach. Towards, you know, school management and running a school, you know, because it's not just one thing, right? But it's everything together, working together.
You could always make more money doing things in a shady way. You know, you could always do that.
And when you say that you guys are the best example, that's exactly it.
Right.
You know, world-class, world champion guys.
Yep.
And you're doing good business. Everybody's happy. You're really helping people be their best, reach their best.
You know, and people like
which resonates with me, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it resonates with everyone.
Yeah,
like you know, man, like
it's the right way. It's the right way.
I think one of the worst things in the martial arts business is contracts. You know, like contracts are terrible. Contracts just ensure that you can provide a shitty product. Like your
prepays for years ahead of time,
you know, or just like you can't get out for 3 years, or you have to pay this huge fine, this huge penalty, like your cell phone. right?
Yeah.
Like there's 5 cell phone companies.
Right.
They all drop coverage and drop calls. They suck, right? They absolutely suck, but there's nothing you can do about it. So the onus is on us, the school teachers, like the owners, to provide the best product possible. When I give everything to my students, when I give every single ounce of me to my students, I don't have to worry about a contract.
Right.
You're married, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yes, of course.
You signed a piece of paper?
Yes.
Is that why you stay? Is that signature on that paper?
Yeah.
No. That signature on that paper means nothing. It's not why you stay. Right? You stay for so many other reasons. Yeah. Nothing to do with, it's a contract. You made a contract with the and the United States government of this. But it's not why you stay. So why in the world would I have a contract with my student? I love my students. And if they can feel that I love them, they'll be okay with the mistakes that I make. They'll be okay with me having a bad day. I'll be okay with them having a bad day because we know we love each other.
Yeah. Like me, like me. And when you do those things thrive, right?
Yeah.
Things thrive. They just keep growing and growing and growing.
There's a reason there's a reason we're sitting here. It's not because I signed a contract or you signed a contract with them all. It's because we love them all.
You fund the UFC, you won all these tournaments.
No, you don't care. You watched me get destroyed at ADCC. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
For me, that was my favorite match, actually, seeing you go out there after all these years. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And first match. Right at the
first match of the whole tournament. Yeah. Yeah. But,
I was so proud. I was so proud. Really.
Because I followed you coming up. Right? I was behind you, and I was looking up to you probably. Right? And that, I don't know. I cut you off. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Like, I was just so proud to see you. It was one of the things that you didn't get to accomplish, right? Is competing in ACC.
Yeah.
And they gave you a call a couple weeks before.
2 weeks before.
Yeah. And I shared on social media. I was so excited, man, because you've given everything, you've given everything, not just on the mat, right, to compete, to be a successful competitor and fighter and all that, but also teaching and stuff all these years. Like, how many years have you been teaching?
Oh, I've been teaching martial arts since I was 13 years old.
Okay. How many years have you been teaching
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since I was a white belt?
So how many years? What year was that?
That was 1999.
1999, okay. So 20 years.
So 20 years
20 years, yeah.
As long as I've been training almost, I've been teaching.
Okay, 20 years you've been teaching, and you're competing at ADCC, man.
It was cool.
Okay, you got to go against, first round you go against, one of the favorites, right? Okay. Yeah. But this doesn't matter, man. It does not matter at all to me. And you could have totally done well if you compete against Bushesha. It's different guys, Yeah. But it's not about that. It's about trying, right? Trying, no matter what. Like your things are maybe not in your favor, but you do it anyway, right?
I've lost so much. You've lost so much.
Sure,
what's one more?
For sure.
What's one more?
Yeah, but anyways, I was proud, man. I was really, really proud of you to see you out there, and it was probably one of my highlights. I'm proud because I've seen you grow up. I've seen you grow up from white belt to cleaning mats to becoming, business partner of Amal. You guys doing really, really well. And when I say that, not just business wise, but just doing good work. Doing good work in the communities.
Just give, like that's just how I see it.
Yeah.
If you just the idea of giving and as much as you possibly can crushes the idea of taking. I get so much more. Like, I'm better at jiu-jitsu now than I was when I was fighting when I was professionally fighting. Because when I was professionally fighting, I was only worried about me and what maybe worked for me and didn't work for me and things like that, right? But now I have all of these students. Like, when I teach mainly on Tuesday and Thursday nights, or throughout the whole day. I probably teach 100 people, 100 somewhere in there, right? Like my advanced class tonight has 50 people in it.
50 people.
50 people every night. Like, it's not like a seminar.
Yeah.
And when I started that class 6 years ago, I posted a picture of it on social media the other day, right? There was 11. I had 11 people. And I was like, fuck yeah. And at that time, that was the biggest no-gi advanced class in Denver that had ever been, with 11. And now we've got it to 50. And so when you have 50 people, like, they don't all look like you, right? Like my little girl, Anna, I got to learn like little 115-pound female jiu-jitsu.
Because you care.
Because I care.
Again, you care.
I care, and I really want the best for her. And so, but that makes my game better. Like giving to her makes me better. And it's a weird concept.
I think it's fair to say you receive when you give.
You receive quadruple the amount, in my opinion. Quadruple the amount when you give. But when you
so don't hold out. Don't be a holder outer.
When you give, you have to want nothing back.
Yeah.
You know it's going to come back to you.
You know, I have Suru here right now.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that, he was my main training partner down there in Brazil, right? Back in the day. And he didn't have a lot of money, and neither did I, in those days. And one of the things I'll never forget, so anytime I can support him in some way today, I'll do it, because he helped me. Like I lived with him. He spent time with me in jiu-jitsu. And he was in Brazil, and in Rio, like a lot of guys that saw me as a foreigner, and they could maybe get some money off of me or something like that. But he never expected anything from me. He just gave to me with nothing, expecting nothing in return. And I don't think he even remembers, but I remember, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
Those are the things that you don't forget.
Yeah.
That have, like I say this a lot, and sometimes I get in trouble for it. I have the best life possible. Like no one has a better life than me. And yeah, I do get to do amazing things, like go cool places and all that stuff. But that has nothing to do with why I have an amazing life. Like that's part of it, but it's like this small little sliver of the pie. The reason that I have an amazing life is the people in my life.
Yeah, the relationships.
The relationships. Like there's not an amount of money that you could give me that you would say, okay, Elliot, here's this amount of money. You have to abandon your life. Like the people. You could take you, your wife, and your kids. But that's it. But I could never talk to you again. I could never talk to them all. I could never talk to like all of my students. Like if like there's not an amount of money that you could give me, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's it. It's all about the relationships.
It's about people.
It's one of the things that I learned actually opening up a bunch of gyms here in LA years ago. Because I ended up being in the office and kind of managing things and not teaching and not being connected, and it made me realize what matters to me and what motivates me to come in every morning and teach, and to do this kind of work. I'd rather do something else with my life. If that makes more money, maybe be an investment banker or something, right?
Bro, you want to make money? Sell drugs and do gay porn. Okay. You ever research how much male gay porn stars make?
I have never.
They make like 30 G's a scene, bro. 30 G's a scene. Go sell drugs and do that. You'll be so rich.
First for the money, right?
You'll be so rich. You do that for 5 years, dude. You'll have your kids will be set.
Man, I've known them all, right? Man, since the mid '90s. We started jiu-jitsu together, right? In Santa Fe, New Mexico, and he was like my big brother. Yeah. He's the one who took me down to Brazil and really had that influence, right? The reason why we're sitting down here today. Right?
I'm mauling.
And and he struggled, man. I've watched like every year, and he had to actually move into his gym. Like now you guys have 7 gyms, everything's like, wow, you're doing so well and blah, blah, blah. But man, it wasn't always like that.
There was a week, it was me, Amal, and Jay in the gym. Living in the gym.
Okay.
I was out of a place. Jay lived there.
Okay.
Something happened with them all.
He built a bunk bed above the storage in the closet.
Yeah.
And he lived there for, I don't know, 6 months to a year. I'm not sure.
With Louisa at one point.
Yeah, she broke up with him, right?
After that. Way after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but, he made it happen, man. He believed in this thing. Because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man, unless you watch those early UFCs, you didn't really know what it was.
The UFC, so, this goes back to the luck of it. Like when I say I got lucky enough to work really hard. Dude, the UFC The Ultimate Fighter happened.
Yeah, at that time.
Right? The Ultimate Fighter happened in 2004 and our lives took off. Like pre-2004?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I was at, right?
Right?
And it was
me too.
2000 when I started my the gym.
So I started in 99 jiu-jitsu, right? So, but pre that, like it was challenge matches when people walked in the gym. It was like, okay,
old school fight club.
Yeah, old school fight club, like pit bulls running around everywhere, like shirts off, like going to war, blood everywhere. Who cares if the school's clean?
Yeah.
Like there's that. That's what it was. And then 2004 came, and the UFC just boom.
What was it, 2004, 2005?
2004 is when the Ultimate Fighter. Okay. First Ultimate Fighter.
Okay, yeah, because I did a thing, a commercial for that Ultimate Fighter, Diego Sanchez, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Kenny Florian.
And then it blew up our sport.
Stefan Bonner, and yeah.
Did you have anything to do with that?
With what?
The Ultimate Fighter.
No.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Right? No. So.
Forrest Griffith, Stefan Bonner fight.
Right. If that fight didn't happen.
That fight. It was that fight.
That fight changed the world.
Everyone watched. Tune in, yeah.
Everyone watched. Oh my God. Oh my God.
It was that fight.
Right? It was that fight. I wasn't in it. You weren't in it.
No.
Did you train those guys?
Definitely not.
Me either.
We fought on the same card though.
Right.
Forrest Griffin one time before that fight.
Yeah, but you had nothing to do with.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
So you got lucky that it happened. You got so lucky that that this happened, and now we get to work amazingly hard.
I mean, hey, I would have done. I tell people I would have got a 9-to-5 job because I believed in this Brazilian jiu-jitsu stuff so much.
Sure.
To keep doing it.
Yeah, but we'd be working a 9-to-5 right now. We wouldn't be sitting here with each other doing a podcast.
Right.
While the schools are working and
right.
we're employees and you're helping your friends. You're right. Like it's amazing that we get to do this.
For sure. I'm blessed. I'm
blessed by who? Yeah. I don't even like to think about what.
Yeah.
So now our job is to go sprinkle some of that luck dust on as many people as possible.
That's it.
That's it. Because, come on, man. I started with such an advantage and then got incredibly lucky and lucky and luckier. Like the luck just keeps fucking happening. So
let's go into the Easton Online program, the consulting thing you guys are doing.
So we are creating digital courses. The first one's going to release here in January on exactly how we run our martial arts schools, exactly what it is we do. We're starting with what we call first impression specialist, the front desk, because if you don't get that part right, right, if people don't have a good experience coming in the school. They
say first impressions are everything, right? 10 to 17 seconds.
That's it. If the phone's not answered correctly, if you don't respond in a proper way, if you don't respond in a timely manner, then this whole thing can just go downhill. Right? And then even more so when you start to look at selling the person. I hate being sold. You hate being sold, right?
Of course.
I don't want to be sold. I want to have an opportunity to try something. Right? Like, have you ever bought in a car, just walked in the car dealership, give me that car and left? No, you test drive it. Yeah. Right? See if, test drive the school.
See if it's the right
place
for you.
See if it's the right place for you. So like how
because everybody's different. Maybe it's not the right place for you.
Maybe it's not. And that's okay.
But we try.
Do our best. We do our best. Right? And that's fine. It's totally okay. Like when people go, give me the sale. Like people ask me this all the question. Give me like, they don't ask me, but every once in a while I'll be at the front desk and I'll introduce myself. Hey, I'm the owner. They're like, all right, give me your sales pitch. I was like, no, I just really literally was saying hi. They're like, okay, well, let me hear your sales pitch. I was like, my sales pitch is I have no sales pitch. Go try somewhere else. I have no sales pitch.
Yeah.
Like we do this thing called
We're not in it for the sale that day. We're in it for the long game.
Yeah. We do this thing called the trial month.
Lifestyle change.
Yeah. We do this thing called the trial month where it's like, 50% off the first month. They know that. They know what the full price is. So like what most martial arts schools do is they go for 3 months, sign up for this 3-month program. It's $50 a month. Then you do your 3-month program. And then they'll go, okay, great. You did so well. You graduated to the next martial arts program. It's $250 a month. But they didn't tell you about the $250. Right. And now you're so in that you're like, oh, here's my bank account.
Yeah,
right?
Trick you, yeah.
So they trick you. So what we do is we go, look, the first month is $99, let's say. It's $99.
Sure.
You get to try all the classes. You want to try kickboxing, try kickboxing. Muay Thai, try Muay Thai. Jiu-Jitsu, do whatever you want. At the end of the month, this is the price. Okay? If you don't like it, just tell us. We'll give you your money back. All of it.
True confidence.
True, yeah. So that's the sales pitch.
You believe in your product.
And if you want to go...
You believe in what it can do for them.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. If you want to go try somewhere else, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah. You know what you guys offer.
Yeah. They're like, well...
You know what you guys can do for them.
Aren't you the cheapest? No, we're not the cheapest. We're actually the most expensive. No one's more expensive than us. And I'm fine saying it because I'm not going to teach you jiu-jitsu. I'm going to teach you how to live your life in the very, very best way possible. The vehicle we're going to jump on to do that is jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing. That's the vehicle. That's how we're getting there. But I don't get paid to teach jiu-jitsu. No way. We get paid to change people's lives. And all you have to do, the only barrier of entrance is the front door. And that's it.
How long have people been thinking about coming to do a class before they finally do a class?
Oh my God!
What are some of the answers that you hear? That you've heard? You know, I've been doing this now for 20 plus years.
Sure.
So this is an interesting thing that I always tell the staff. So how many years? How long have you been thinking about coming in?
Before they come in?
Yeah.
Oh, people are like, I want to get in better shape first.
But how many years have they been thinking about coming in to train?
I don't know. I've never asked people that question.
Oh man, I ask them all the time.
What's the answer you get?
Man, they say like 5, 10 years, even 20 years.
Damn.
Really, since when Royce Gracie did that fight.
Right.
They've always wanted to do it. And they finally mustered enough courage or whatever it is, what things happened, and they came in.
So I agree.
And so if you don't have that for a good first impression, or if you don't hold their hand to make sure they have the experience that they're expecting, you lose that, Maybe you could lose that, right?
Right.
So I really, it's a big thing, man. How many years it took them to finally come into the door. You want to do a good job for them,
right?
You want to give them what they expected for all those years.
They're already so scared,
right?
They're already petrified.
Yeah, most people.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I was listening to Faraz on Rogan's podcast, and I think people misunderstood what he was saying because I've heard some backlash about this. They're like, like the whole stripes thing, and giving people stripes based on attendance. He was talking about that at a high level. Right? Like, okay, you're a brown belt and you've done 50 classes. Here's a stripe. I disagree with that. Dude, I will put a piece of tape on a white belt's belt in a hot minute after 10 classes.
It's important.
You can hip out? Amazing. Oh, you mean you actually had the guts to keep coming? Here's a stripe. Oh, okay, you can buck and roll. You can take care of your partner. You can pass the guard. Okay, here's another stripe. Now look, at some point that ends. Like you don't give blue belts for attendance. Like no one gets a blue belt for attendance. But I'll get you real close. I think. I'll get you real close to that blue belt for like the courage to keep coming and devoting to getting good at this really. Look, we're beating each other up. It's so hard. Getting beat up is so difficult. It sucks. You got beat up in front of millions of people, right? How'd you feel?
Not good.
For a long time, right?
My feelings.
Yeah, me too. All of us. It doesn't go away.
Not the physical pain, but my heart.
Yeah, your face gets better. Yeah, for how long?
Probably still today.
Still today. Yeah. There's still a piece of you inside your gut.
I could have done better.
I could have done better.
I live with it.
And you have to live with it. So, everyone's not going to be a UFC fighter. But getting beat up on the daily, God, that's so hard. Right? That's so difficult. Because it crushes you. I mean, like, go listen to a white belt class. Like, it's when you hear them, I had a bad day, and that's why you blah, blah, blah. Like, and that happens. Because that's just our egos screaming at us.
But you persevere, and you become a better person in the process.
So help them along the way in the beginning.
Be a good mentor.
Help them along the way. Yeah, don't make it more. It's already difficult enough. Now, don't give them a blue belt because they keep coming. They have to get good.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. The belts is where it's at for me too.
The belts is where it's at. Right? Like, the belts is where it's at. There has to be integrity in our belt systems. But in the beginning, man, your kid doesn't have to feed himself when he pops out, right? You do everything for him. Yeah. Your students have to be your children. And you have to love them like that. And when you do, they'll love you back.
That's it.
And back to the first impressions, right? Like, if I walk off the mat, just got done training, sweat everywhere, probably stink, right? Blood maybe coming down my nose. And I walk up to you, hi, Mr. Crane, how are you? Nice to meet you. Would you like to sign up? Oh, you're already scared. No, I wouldn't actually.
Yeah.
Right? No, you're already nervous. If you send me an email and I don't respond for 3 days because I forgot, because I was following up with you based on sticky notes on my computer. Oh, damn, I forgot to call Alberto. Damn, I forgot to call Jimmy. Oh, I forgot to call Pam. Miss Jane, okay. You know? Or like, you know, you try to do these things, do these phone calls while you're in your school 15 minutes before you teach class. No, man, that's your students' time. Students are going to need something from you. Hey, professor, you can't make phone calls at that time. You know, so we lay out a systematic way of how to take somebody from a lead, you know, to a member, keep them as a member. Retention. We talk a little bit about retention. But as you said, the very first thing that we talk about in the course is what does the culture of your school look like? What is your vision? And how do you make these things called core values? Because if you don't have them, you will crumble. And a core value is something, a core value is something that you're willing to lose friends and money over, you know, and that you don't move on them in your life. That's a core value, and you have them, and your business has to have them.
And your coaches need to know what
and
those
everyone needs to, everyone who works for you needs to know what the core values are. Because all of the tough decisions get so easy once you lay them out. You know,
things aren't so major. The little minor things aren't so major. If you don't understand what those core values are.
Are you going to kill somebody?
What's that?
Are you going to kill somebody?
No.
You might.
Oh, because of that?
No, I'm just saying you might.
Oh.
Right? If they break into your house and they're attacking your children and your family, you might kill them. So killing is not against your core value. Murder is. You're not going to murder somebody. Right? You're not going to walk down the street and go boom.
Sure.
Right? So there's a difference between, like, it's the same act.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Right? It's the same exact act, but but depending on the scenario and what your core values are, now you get different results.
Yeah. Let's talk about your podcast.
Yeah, The Gospel of Fire,
which actually was my motivation. You put it out there, you know. Yeah, because you called me up, and people have been telling me for quite a few years to do a podcast. Yeah. And I was like, nah, that's not my thing, you know. It's not my thing. And then you called me up, hey, we'll do it. Of course, yeah, of course. I've done a few other ones, you know. And then I had such a good time. It was basically we got to catch up. Like we're kind of hanging out now, and you know I get to always learn. And then people after you released it, you know, people said I listened to your podcast. That was awesome. I learned so many things about you, and I was like, man, why am I not doing a podcast? You know, and because I have so many amazing people here, you know, and I love them too, you know. Yeah. Not just here, but just the stuff that I'm studying. I've been, you know, big student the last few years, right? Of like neuroscience and fascia of the brain, just human potential, being our best, you know. So yeah, why am I not doing that, you know? So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk about your podcast.
Yeah. I had a breakdown 3 years ago now, almost 4 years ago now. Mental breakdown / spiritual awakening, and it was awful, and my friends got me through, you know. And so that's when I really started thinking about this holistic way about my life and people, and really loving people, like really just investing in people. And what I came to was that you have to go into the fire. You have to go really deep into pain and suffering a little bit. And what will come out on the other side is greatness, is your power. I don't know what your power is. I don't know what your superpower is. We all can find it. But there's no way there's no way out unless you go in. So a lot of people, you know, I get asked all the time if my podcast is about Jesus, but because the gospel, you know? Yeah. But I believe the gospel is the fire. Go into it, get burnt.
The obstacle is the way.
The obstacle is the way. The Marcus Aurelius said it the best. The impediment of action advances action. I have it tattooed right there in my arm in Greek, you know. What stands in the way becomes the way. It's that important to me. It is the only, I wouldn't say it's the only, but it's the way that, you know, like.
Do you think that's jiu-jitsu?
That's jiu-jitsu. That's why rule number 1 in my life and for my kids is you have to do jiu-jitsu. because I don't believe that there's a better life vehicle than jiu-jitsu. There's not a better one. There's good ones. I'm not saying there's not good ones.
It's our way.
But there's no, but it, you know,
really, you know, the brain damage. It's so hard, and you keep facing it, keep facing it, and in that process, you become the person you can reach your potential. It's one way, right?
I wouldn't have made it through the fire without jiu-jitsu. One, just like the act of how hard it is, you know, and learning just to deal with that, like the devil's arm around your neck, rather than a person's arm, you know. And then two, the people that I got through jiu-jitsu. So now the goal of the podcast is so that everybody can find their power, so that I sit down and talk to people who have done things, you know, like yourself, who have done great things. You know, you have MS, you're still pushing, right? You're not like, oh, that's a death sentence for me. Oh, my life's over.
Best is yet to come.
Best is yet to come.
That's my superpower.
Yeah. That's just, right? And you found that how?
It's the adversity.
Adversity, not because of, you know, not because of gold medals.
No, it's the biggest one. My biggest thing was when we talked, I lost for about 3 years, right? Before I actually won my first tournament. Right. I lost for about 3 year period, yeah. But I think 20, whatever it was, I don't know. I forget the number. Right. But when I finally won, I was a world class blue belt, yeah. And I took a lot of that all the way to black belt, and I could have quit at any time. This isn't for me. But I kept, you feel like you would die right after every match, or after every tournament you would lose. But you pick yourself up and you try again, and you try again, and you try again. And in that process, everything that I've done in my life is from that period of my life of losing and not giving up. Yeah.
The fire. Yeah. I don't care what God you believe in. I don't care what religion you sit down and practice. Yeah. They all say the same fucking thing. Yeah. Yeah. You know, they all say that. So that's why for me, it's the gospel. You have, that's preaching. Go read whatever one of those books you want.
Speaking of books, you also have a book.
I have a book, same title.
Gospel of Fire.
Gospel
so it's
Fire.
the same thing.
Same thing.
That was your intention.
It goes through. Okay, so let's talk. So the process of the book. So where it all started is I sat down with a lady. My friend bought me 2 public speaking things, because he thought I should do it. I sat down with her. She was like, "Man, you're a little raw. Like you're talking about gay porn, right? Like, She's like, so I think maybe for people to really get to know you, a book and a podcast." And I was like, all right, cool. The podcast is cheap as hell, right? Especially when you start just audio, right? You start just audio, cheap as hell, like $100 an episode, not even, Video is obviously more expensive, but the book, she put me in touch with this company, and the book was $25,000. And I was like, shit. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, how am I going to get a return? Because, I'm not going to be a New York Times bestseller. Amazon's going to take half the profits, So how do you get a return?
You're an Amazon bestseller now.
I am. I am an Amazon bestseller.
I bought it.
Hell I got it. But you're thinking about that. Like when you have to spend $25,000, you're trying to think about, where am I going to see a return on this money? Yeah. And I had to change the way I thought about it. What I changed to was I was like, look, I need to write the best book possible, because my return is going to be if one person contacts me and says, hey, man, I was about to end it. I didn't know where to go. I read your book, and here I am today. If that happened one time, would you spend $25,000 to stop somebody that you knew from committing suicide?
1,000%, yeah.
And then you do it again, right? Well, I've gotten like 30.
You know me.
Yeah, I know. I know you. I got like 30 of them. I'm rich as fuck from that. Not from the return on the. Yeah. I don't even know how much I've made profit wise. I couldn't. I have made no profit. I'm in the hole, right? I didn't make my $25,000 back, but I got people back. I got a message the other day. This kid who won, oh my professor, I haven't been in for a year, like just going up. It's like, I just read your book, man. I just read your book. I read your book 3 times, and I'm like, fuck, man. What do you do with that? That's the goal. Yeah. That's that. So I am so rich, but that's why I'm rich. But now, you know what I mean? Like that kid, and I called that kid back. Right? And he was like, are you really calling me back? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm calling you back. I was like, let's go get in the school. I was like, I'll set it up so that you get in the school, you know, because I know this will save your life. Right? The school will, the only thing you have to do for me is cause me no problems. Right? Don't be a menace in the school and get in there. We'll work everything else out later. But we'll see you tomorrow. Right? But you have to come every day. If you're not here every day, then it's not going to work. You know, so that's the book, man. The book is about my struggle and how people saved me, you know, and how I don't like to say overcame anxiety because I have it every day. You know, I have it every day. It doesn't go away. Every night I still wonder if I'm going to fall asleep or if this is going to be the night again where the devil comes to say hello. And I have to look the devil in the eye and I have to say thank you. How long are you going to stay with me this time? And if he stays, he stays. And if he goes, he goes. And I don't have any control over that. So, you know, that's the book in a nutshell.
Right on. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. You know,
want to just ask one more question?
Yeah.
You know, I want to, after you moved from Jersey to Colorado, so what would you tell yourself? What would you tell a 20-year-old Eliot Marshall? You know, you black belt, you know, UFC, Ring of Fire champion. I mean, all these things, you know, helping all these thousands of people over all these years.
I would say two things. Okay, one thing. Find what it is that you love in the world. And then go invest in the people. You invest. Don't ask them to invest. You invest in the people in that world. Give it away for free. Just go give. See what you can add to that arena.
Add value to whatever they're doing.
I love martial arts.
You cleaned the mats.
I cleaned the mats. What can I give away? And the most important thing that you can give away is more than your money, more than anything else, is you can give your time away. So like when we talk about like how I was able to build that 5-person class to a 50-person class every night. It's because I was already a champion. I was already retired from the UFC. I already had all the okay, so I didn't have ADCC, right? Like the only thing I didn't have that I have now. ADCC vet. Right?
How many times did you get second place? Just to go
Dude, I got second place 3 fucking times. And I didn't get
trials,
an invite at the trials. 3 times.
That's crazy, man.
And I didn't get an invite, right?
Yeah.
And one of them I lost.
That's why that was another reason why I was so happy.
One of them I lost -1-0 on a guard pull. Right? Like, sure. And then the wrestler stalled me out. Yeah. But anyway, I don't have any bitterness towards that still. But anyway, I had to change the perspective of how I was looking at the class. It was not the student's privilege that they got to come learn from me. It had to be my privilege that the student would actually take this hour and a half out of their life and just come hang out with me.
Yeah.
Because, look, like you said, you would work a 9 to 5, right? So you know all these ways that you can make money. Right?
To be able to teach jiu-jitsu.
But just in general, you know all these ways you can make money.
Sure.
Have you figured out how to get your time back yet?
To get my time back? No, there's no.
So what's the most valuable thing you have?
Sure.
It's time.
Sure, time.
So that's why you have to invest in things with your time, not your money. You know, with your time. And when you truly invest with your time, you will become an expert. Right? You will become, I don't know when you'll become that expert. I can't help you with that. I can't tell you when that will be. But like you did with the 20 tournaments that you lost in the first round. But you kept investing in your time. And then you became an expert. Did you know which tournament was going to flip the switch and you'd be an expert?
No.
No clue.
But I kept getting better.
Even if
it didn't show it, I was.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't show it.
Right. But you kept investing your time, not your money, your time.
Money too, right?
Yeah, but the time came first.
For sure.
Yeah, money comes too. Like I have to invest all of my money now. in jiu-jitsu, in martial arts. There's only one way to make this thing that we're doing, this enterprise that we're doing. Yeah. I have to invest now my money and my time, right? Like that's part of it. But it's first the time. Because if I didn't learn the skills of jiu-jitsu, I couldn't do this. If I didn't read books to better myself, I couldn't do this. And that's my time. That's not my money. You know, all this information is out there for free. But you have to invest your time. And then you have to invest your time into people.
Yeah.
So that's, find your passion, invest your time in it, all of your time.
Perfect. So how can people find you?
Fire Marshal 205 on Instagram and Twitter. I don't really do Twitter too much. I look at it, but I hate Twitter.
You just connect to Instagram, like me.
You connect to Instagram. I hate Twitter, man. Twitter's disgusting. People just yell at each other and scream, you know. So Fire Marshal 205 on Instagram. I have a Facebook page, The Gospel of Fire. I think and then my website, eliotmarshall.com. I'm getting ready. Hopefully by next week, we're going to do this thing. There'll be a button on there when you subscribe to my email list where like how I start my day. Because I think people mess that up a lot in their lives, right? You don't start your day with a process.
Right.
And then their day, your day could go here or there or wherever. So, I start my day in a very processed way. Like I
do the same.
And boom, 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 boom. So that I am very successful right away in the morning. So that's going to come out. I'm going to put a course out on like my whole life, on how I make my whole life, things like that, And so yeah, eliotmarshall.com. The schools, man, look, anytime you're in Colorado, come to Easton. Come to Easton.
Google Easton.
Google Easton. Where
EastonBJJ.com.
Easton BJJ, Easton Training Center. There's no drop-in fees. There's none of that nonsense, right? Like you don't got to buy our gi to train. Like just come, be a part of the community. It's amazing. It'll be my pleasure to have you. It'll be my pleasure for someone to come in and like again, like I said, spend their time with me when they're on vacation or they're traveling for work or they're just in town, man. It's one of my favorite things when new people come in.
Thank you for all the work, amazing work you've been doing all these years, teaching and contributing to the culture of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, our culture, MMA, fighting, your example as a competitive fighter, but more as a teacher and as a person. And I always appreciated your loyalty to, our brother Amal Easton.
Amal, man, ride or die, bro.
Yeah, and it's beautiful to see you guys flourish. Thanks, over there. Man.
I appreciate it. You guys started it for us. Right, like you and Amal were like my pecking points. Where like you always have to have someone that you're looking to, in my opinion, and you need ones that are really far away, like Henzo, right? Like especially when I was a white belt, Henzo was far, like he's like godly, right? He still is, But like I get to talk to Henzo now, so it's really cool. But the people that were in my life were you and Amal. Right, and Mark Johnson, because you guys were the top for me. Remember Mark?
Yeah, of course.
So you guys, and then Mark, unfortunately got sick and things, but so then it just became you and Amal. I was like, okay, just like that, just like that, just like that, So there ain't no me without you guys, man.
Thank you for your friendship.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for coming on.